What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that I wrote a book, and it's coming out in August 2022, titled Surviving Washington. Now, every experience that I've ever had has made me a better husband, a better father, and a better player. But I want you to take this journey with me as I walk you through one of the most dysfunctional franchises in all of sports. I'm going to tell you the truth about what happened in that playoff game in 2012 against Seattle. I'm going to detail the medical mismanagement that I received during my time in Washington. I'm going to open your eyes to the sexual harassment that permeated the walls of that building and give you a deep dive into a power struggle between one of the most powerful coaches in all of sports and an owner that many of you want gone. They say the truth will set you free. So here it is, unfiltered. Pre-order now.
For RG3 to say, I'm going to open your eyes about it, but wait till August of 2022 when the book drops. That's when you got to read all about it. When there's an appetite for that information right now. The spotlight is squarely on the Washington football team right now. It'd be awfully nice, RG3, for you to use your voice and your platform now to do what's right, not to do what's profitable. And if you know something, say something. If you saw something, say something. But to save it for a book is real self-serving when, again, assuming you were never the person who was sexually harassed. Well, when I went in on RG3 yesterday, I had not seen this. So Florio expressed a similar sentiment. Why hasn't he come forward with it before? And why does he share everything he knows about it right now? To which RG3 replied on Twitter, sexual harassment victims should share their stories when they are ready, not when you want them to. The book is not about other people's experiences with sexual harassment in Washington. It's about my experience with sexual harassment in Washington. Hopefully, you will listen. And that sentiment was echoed by his wife, who also got on Twitter and said, let's clear up a misconception about surviving Washington. In the book, Robert is not talking about other people's experiences with sexual harassment in Washington. He is talking about his own experience with sexual harassment in Washington. Sexual harassment victims shouldn't be pressured into speaking up when you want them to. They should speak up when they are ready, even if it's 7 to 8 years later. Hopefully this book will encourage more of you to speak up and tell your story. Michael, I wonder how clarity on the part of RG3. Oh, okay, you have a contemplative look on your face. I'd love to know, your wheels are turning.
Okay, listen. Okay. I think, let me just tell you, I think literalists are among the worst people in America. Okay, so I don't want to be one of those people who takes everything literally. But as I read that, is Robert Griffin III saying that he was sexually harassed?
Well, it's not clear, but then because he and his wife both say sexual assault victims, I think it's safe to assume that that's what they're insinuating, that he himself is a victim. But you're right. He says it's about my experience with sexual assault in Washington. That sentence doesn't clearly state that you are the victim of sexual harassment. I keep saying assault. Because we're so used to saying sexual assault. Yeah. My experience, that doesn't necessarily mean that you were sexually harassed, but continue.
No, look, if
I think it's a safe deduction that he's saying that he was sexually harassed. It's a safe deduction.
If that is the case, that he was sexually harassed in Washington, or whether he was sexually harassed there or has some information about it, I think that still comes back to the point. Mike, as I look at it again, and this is, I got tons of issues. I just want to let everybody know that. I got tons of issues. And if I knew y'all better, I'd tell you all of them. But, your family, I'll tell you some of them. I ain't going to tell you all of them. But one of my issues is, I have bouts of hypocrisy. Yes, I do. I'm a hypocrite. So I say all that to say the biggest problem with RG3's approach to this book is really that video. Like,
correct.
If it come out, it was just the video. It didn't land right.
It was the tone. It wasn't scripted poorly. If anybody is at fault here, with all due respect, it's his publicist and PR team, whether it's his individually or on behalf of the publisher, because whoever wrote what he was reading clearly was taking advantage of the timing. Like, they knew they were hitting the buzzword around the Washington football team is toxic work environment, is sexual harassment. They know that people's ears will perk up because, oh, you have information about the story we've all been talking about. It was the farthest thing from clear in that video that he was saying, I experienced sexual harassment. That did not come across in that video. No way, no how.
And here's the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy, as you pointed out yesterday. Thank God I've been blessed to have written 8 books. To author or co-author, the total was 8. Wow, I never imagined that. Thank God. So I know about book promotion. I've done book promotion. I've held certain things back because, hey, I'm going to save that for the book. So I'll tease you for it. And hey, buy the book, order now. I've been there before. Never quite on a subject as serious as this. And maybe it was just seeing his tone didn't really match the content. That tone is like, hey guys, order now.
But look, nothing somber about it. It was
players'
nothing
missteps.
Somber. It was nothing serious. Yeah.
Coach's green. Sure, go ahead, do that.
Yeah.
Owner's power. Yeah, go ahead, have at it.
Sure. Yep.
Sexual harassment. It just doesn't land right.
It was poor execution.
It doesn't land well for me.
So to clap back and act like, well, how dare you suggest when I should talk about when I was sexually harassed? Well, hold on, player. Nobody knew you were talking about you. We thought you were capitalizing off the current headlines and the congressional inquiries into the Washington football team's workplace environment. Look, if Robert Griffin III was in fact the victim of some Donald Sterling-esque version of sexual harassment in Washington, God bless him. I hope he's healing. I encourage it. If this is his healing process, so be it. And I encourage him to speak out. Because generally speaking, victims of sexual harassment come in all shapes, sizes, and gender. And so if
no question.
If he experienced it, this could in fact be powerful. So I am curious to hear about these allegations, but he better come correct because those are huge. This isn't trivial. This isn't subjective. Well, it's subjective. I guess I should say this is no small thing. That's explosive. That's something that, like, if that's what you're saying, please bring the receipts. Don't tiptoe around it. Don't tap dance around it. Bring those receipts. Name names. If this is your process, then you do need to help bring down this regime that has not only harmed employees, but also apparently is franchise players. So I'm curious about it. It was poorly delivered, but if it's his experience, then I kind of walk back my criticism because my criticism yesterday, Michael, was that he was taking advantage of other people's pain. If it's his pain, then you're allowed to do that in your own way. Just was, as we've said ad nauseum at this point, poorly delivered.
Okay, listen. All right. All right, here's the tricky thing. You tell me, because I'm not sure about it. And I'll be honest with you. I'm just not sure how to handle it because I haven't written this type of book yet. Okay, one day I will write a memoir.
Sure.
And I'll talk about all of my experiences, triumphant, painful. I'll talk about incidents that I've experienced. People have said things to me, people have done things to me that are unpleasant. So I will mention that. I will mention those things in a book. So I haven't done that kind of book yet. But in this kind of book, understand that if Robert Griffin says it's got to be, these people have to do it on their own time. And it can't happen when you want it to happen. It has to be when they're ready. Okay, now let's look at it from a publishing standpoint. From a publishing standpoint, if the book is coming out in August of 2022, he's already had those comments. He's already made those comments to his co-writer because it's almost January of 22. So book writing process, there's a manuscript out there. It's not the finished product, but there is a manuscript, and it probably needs to be rewritten and edited so it can be on time. In other words, Mike, he's still, you can make the argument, he's still holding on to this story for profit and not for
no question.
sharing.
And that's what
So,
that's
I mean,
what felt so cheesy
but is that
about
his?
it.
But is that his? If it's his story, is that his right to do it, or
His
is it still
his prerogative?
Yeah, you're
Listen,
still
I feel
profiting from it. You're
I
not
think both things could be
sharing
true.
it.
I think both
Yeah.
things could be true. I think I hear you. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I agree with you. I think it could be that it feels cheesy to us on the outside. It feels like you're taking something painful and trying to turn a profit, or you're trivializing it even, or capitalizing off of this moment and this movement, and off the attention on the football team for your own gain, trying to stay relevant for a team that, you know, it wasn't that long ago, I believe he was tweeting, yo, I'll come back. I'd love to come back full circle and play for the organization again. This very same organization, even though it looks different from when he was there, from you know, the levels below ownership. So there's that. It also could be part of his process, and if he chooses to share it in the form of a book to be released in August of 2022, pre-order now. If that's his way of doing it, as opposed to sitting down across from a journalist and tearfully answering questions about his experience with sexual harassment, I guess that's his prerogative. But we have a right to our opinion on it. If he's trying to sell us a book, if he's trying to sell us a story, I think we have a right to receive it the way we choose to receive it. And if we want to receive it skeptically, I seriously hope that he didn't see the pushback and just decide, oh, well, let me spin it. You know what I mean? I hope that's not the case, because the guy in the video did not seem like he was talking about his pain. He seemed like he was talking about, oh, I saw somebody else get sexually harassed, which that's why everybody was like, well, why you didn't say something sooner? Now he's like, oh, that's not what I meant. And I'm not saying he's lying. I just hope that that's not the case. He's like, oh, that's not what I meant. I actually meant when I was sexually harassed. It's like, okay, well, where'd that come from? It's all weird.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you how. I'll tell you what's even weirder. I'm gonna tell you how the machine works. And it's not just his particular publisher. It's all publishers. Right now, hey, Vincent, are we happy? Oh, we happy. They're happy because
we're talking.
There's conversation about it, and this is you know, some publicist is saying, yes, this is great for the book. That's all. That's all they're saying.
Yeah,
and that's their job. Their job is, hey, there's another alert. Hey, somebody else talked. Hey, brother from another talked about it. They talked about it yesterday and today. Woo!
Yeah.
This is good. We're cooking with gas right now. So that's the way it goes. That's how the machine works. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.